I want to be like you. I want to walk like you. I want to talk like you. Too. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
The Jungle Book was directed by Jon Favreau and it stars Neil Sethi, Bill Murray, and Ben Kingsley. Now let me start this video by saying I am a huge fan of the original cartoon. I grew up watching that movie over and over and over and over. So nostalgia was a big thing for me while watching this version of the movie. And I saw this version with my lovely lady friend, and she has not seen the original whatsoever. So hopefully I can kind of mix both of our opinions and show you what it's like from the perspective of someone who grew up loving the cartoon and someone who's never seen anything else that has been Jungle Book. In a sense, this movie is a remake of the original cartoon, while also being an adaptation of the book and mixing like best of both worlds. So essentially, if you've seen anything else Jungle Book, it's a story that you're used to. Mowgli is a child raised by wolves in the wild until a douche tiger Shere Khan is like, "What? A human? Is everyone crazy? We eat those things." So to keep him safe, Mowgli's panther mentor travels with him to get him back to human civilization, and adventure ensues. So like I said, there has been plenty of adaptations of this book. This is actually the 12th adaptation, and I have no problem with saying I think this version, Jon Favreau's The Jungle Book, is the definitive Jungle Book. Like I said, the original Jungle Book cartoon basically raised me. Like, I think that movie is the reason why I have this, like, beatnik personality and outlook on life. But this version of the movie is just, it's a solid movie. And I almost hate to say it, but I think this is a better movie than the original cartoon. Not only was it the same amazing adventure with a few nostalgic nods, but it cleaned up some of the plot holes and sloppiness of the original while delivering the heartfelt scenes amazingly. Like, I knew what was coming because of the cartoon. I knew that the heartfelt moments were coming up, and I would, when it was coming up, I would look over at my lady friend just slightly, like, because I knew it was going to happen, just to see what her reactions were. And it hit her just as hard as it hit me as a kid. And honestly, watching it again in this version, I got emotional again. I felt the same way that I did when I was a kid watching these scenes. You could really feel the passion for the source material, which helped this movie tremendously. And honestly, this entire movie relied on Neil Sethi as Mowgli. This was the very first film that he's ever done, and he did an outstanding job. He is basically the only live-action actor in the entire thing. Everything other than him is CGI. And I'll get to that later, don't you worry. So basically, he was working with just a green screen and maybe some props, and he killed it. Not only did he feel like he was genuinely in the jungle talking with these animals, but he handled the emotion very well and felt like an actual adorable kid. This movie mainly relied on how well this kid acted, and he carried that weight with grace. And all of them, all of the voice performances were outstanding, man. Ben Kingsley as Bagheera was spot on. He had that British authoritative voice that was just, it just fit the character so well. Run, Mowgli! And his performance was perfectly contradicted by Bill Murray's Baloo. And when they first announced Bill Murray as Baloo, I was a little skeptical. I didn't know how well that would work out, but he did pretty good. Oh man, did he do good. When he was on screen, I had this never-ending smile on my face. Whenever he came up, I was so happy. He reminded me of my childhood Baloo. It's just that fun-loving, carefree character that you want to hang out with so bad. And I love Bill Murray. I love him to death. But let's all be honest. There are some performances that he's done lately where it feels like he's just kind of clocking in and clocking out, like he's just there because whatever director wanted to use his name. But what's amazing about this movie is even though it's a voice performance, it still feels like a Bill Murray performance. It feels like something along with Peter Venkman, or his role in Stripes, or his role in Groundhog Day. It feels like a Bill Murray performance, which is great to see again. And honestly, what's better than Bill Murray singing the Bare Necessities? I don't think there's anything better. I don't think it gets any better than that. Idris Elba as Shere Khan was haunting. Even though it was just his voice performance, his presence in this movie was terrifying. Even though I knew the events of the film before they were going to happen, whenever he was on screen, I was legitimately scared about what he was going to do next. He kind of reminded me of the Joker in The Dark Knight. You know, every time he was in a frame, you were just on edge. You didn't know what was gonna happen, which is terrifying, and honestly amazing for a Disney movie to pull off. Another thing I really respect about this film's version of Shere Khan is they give him actual backstory. Like, there's reasons to why he's being a villain, which is the best kind of villain. The villains that you understand, the villains that you're like, okay, this is why they're bad guys. Sure, I don't agree with them, but this is their argument towards why being a bad guy is okay for them. And Christopher Walken plays King Louis. And he plays King Louis exactly how you would think Christopher Walken would play King Louis. And it was amazing. And when he was announced to play King Louis, I was joking with people. And I said, you know what? I can't wait to see Christopher Walken sing the monkey song. I want to be like you. I want to walk like you. I want to talk like you. Too woo, ooh woo. And in this movie, the Bare Necessities is sung, but it makes sense. This movie is not a musical like the cartoon was. But when they sing the Bare Necessities, whoa. And this movie isn't a musical like the cartoon was. Like, the Bare Necessities is sung, but the thing about it is it makes sense the way they pull it off. You know, it's casual singing. It's not a big musical production. So I wasn't really expecting to see the monkey song. You know, I want to be like you. And there's the scene. You know, there's the scene where Mowgli meets King Louis. And King Louis is talking with him. And like some music starts up. And I was thinking, okay, this is just helping to build the tension while also giving a little nod. Like just the background music. That's all I thought I was gonna hear. And then he does it. I had a conniption fit. I freaked out, man. I had a seizure. Like, had anyone else other than my lady friends seen my reaction, they would have thought I was having a seizure. They would have called 911 because that was... And it's not a musical. It's not a musical. And this scene is honestly totally out of place. But because it's Christopher Walken doing it, it's so great. It's so amazing. Oh my God. Really, the only character that I had a problem with in this movie was Scarlett Johansson's Kaa, you know, the snake from the cartoon. It didn't really feel like it was a character. You know, it was just a scene just to be a scene. It was really only there to give us some needed exposition. And Kaa didn't play as big of a character as he or she did in the original cartoon, so it just felt kind of just slid in there, you know, just to be in there. But I will say it was a beautifully shot scene. It looks really nice, and it added some really cool nods to the original cartoon, like the way she says "trust in me" and the swirly eye thing from the cartoon. You remember that? Where they looked like they were kind of high, but like their eyes would do the swirly thing. Her eyes kind of did that a little bit, and that made me giggle a little. Like I said, most of this movie was CGI other than Mowgli. This entire film was shot on an LA soundstage, which, when I heard about it, kind of really pissed me off. You know, I love the Jungle Book. I wanted to actually be in the jungle. I wanted to have that jungle feel. And if you know me even slightly, you know how much I hate the overusage of CGI in films now. I hate it. There's just so many things that we don't need it for, but yet it's still used for that. And let me say that in this movie, the CGI was amazing. It was so well done. Had I not been told that this entire movie was put in CGI, I would have had no idea. I would have thought only the animals and maybe some action sequences were CGI. It looks like they're in a jungle. It looks amazing. And a lot of films have the tagline, visual spectacle. But this movie actually was one, and I have no problem with saying that. I felt way more immersed into this CGI world than I did with any other movie, like Avatar. Like, Avatar has been praised so much for its visual effects. But this movie, I think, is a milestone for CGI. I really do. And the animals looked so amazing. Oh my God. And I watched a behind-the-scenes video of the making of this movie and how they did some of the CGI. And I watched how they painstakingly made King Louis's character and just looking at all the little details that they went into it. With my experience in motion graphics, I got stressed out just looking at that video. Oh my god, so much work was put into making these characters. Also, PETA, you know, the animal organization.
What organization?
PETA.
What?
PETA is an acronym, PETA.
No, I'm not. I'm Catholic.
Are we really doing this?
They were really happy with this movie. Like, this film won a Film Achievement Award from PETA.
That's me. I'm Peter.
I'm not talking about you, PETA. I'm talking about PETA.
Somebody better have something to say to me pretty damn soon, or I'm gonna have something to say to them. I am very busy.
I think Betty White is in PETA.
That doesn't even make any sense!
Because they used literally no animals. But yet, this is the best talking animals have ever looked in any movie ever. It's something really hard to accomplish. Like, no movie has ever really made a talking animal look good. But this movie did. The movie's winning the Oscar for Best Visual Effects. It is. It's just, I'm laying it down right now. I'll bet you, like, money. I honestly think this movie will be considered a Disney classic, right along with the classic cartoon. You know what? Maybe even more so. What also makes this such a great film is you can feel the heart and passion that went into making it. Jon Favreau directed this movie with a deep love for the source material, and it seeps through the screen. From the music to the visuals to the lighting, just everything about it felt like so much work was put into it. And from watching my lady friend next to me, I realized that this movie still has the same emotional impact that the original cartoon had. Like, it's not about nostalgia, it's just about a good movie. It still gets done what the original cartoon did, and cleans up a lot of the plot holes from the original cartoon. So in that way, it's a lot better than the original cartoon, and that's something I never thought I'd say about a Disney remake. Really, my only quarrel with this movie, other than the shoved-in Cos scene, would be, like, every now and then these little animals would appear, and there would be these, like, cutesy little joking scenes, and it just felt like it was a little much. Like, it was just like, oh, look how cute this is. Oh, look how cute this is. But then I reminded myself, Khalil, this is a Disney movie made for children. Overall, I think Jon Favreau gave us a Disney masterpiece. Like, it's right up there with all the other classics. You are now forgiven for Iron Man 2, sir. I am going to give The Jungle Book a 9.3 out of 10. Go see this movie. No matter what age you are, or whether or not you know anything about the source material, go see this movie. It's a solid film. I will say though, kids under the age of 7 will probably get a little scared. I had trouble keeping myself from wetting my pants when Shere Khan was on the screen. He's a scary friggin' tiger, dude. So thank you for watching. This was my first PG review. Can you believe that? This is the first movie that I've reviewed that was rated PG. So, we're broadening our horizons here at Slacker Reviews. So subscribe to the channel, watch some other videos, enjoy your day, and as always, watch movies, my friends.